tinfoil hat. Oh, what are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
All right, welcome to Tinfoil Hat, live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver adjacent studios. That's right, go to samtripoli.gold, use the promo code TINFOIL, and you'll get in on the Precious Metals game for as little as $50 a month. Very excited to have this guest on. He works with Iconic. He's a content creator over there. I follow him on Twitter. He's dropping heavy bombs. He's in it. He's calling the shots. You know, there are people out there called black pills. I don't believe in black pills. I'm calling them cold data. They're cold data. You know, they got the data and it's cold and they don't care. So I consider him to be one of them. Very honored to have back. Please welcome Richard Willett. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, thank you. It's been a couple of years since we spoke, but always following your work, as I always do, and you guys and what you're doing over there. It's a mad world, but thank you for having me on. I really appreciate your time.
Honor and a privilege, dude. Always a pleasure. For those who don't remember your appearance a couple years ago, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you?
Yeah, I work with Iconic. So I started Iconic, which is kind of affiliated with David Icke, but it's really run by his son, Jamie. And David, myself, Gaz, and a lady called Gina started it about 6 years ago. We knew each other just before then, but I've been doing this for about 15 years now. So I was doing that well before then. And I was doing a podcast, I think we called Glitch in the Code at the time. And then we got together 6 years ago, started the company ourselves. Jamie runs it, but we're all kind of on the board of it. And yeah, it's doing really well now. It's you know, we don't take any sides, so we're nonpartisan. So we don't, we kind of piss everyone off. But, you know, you find your audience in the middle there somewhere, which is never a big as audience it is as if you're going to promote, you know, a religion, as you guys know, or a philosophy or an ideology or a politician especially. You know that. But we found our own little niche there in the middle there somewhere. So, we're good.
Well, I agree with that. I've always said this. You either want to go hard right or hard left. Down the middle, it doesn't make anybody happy, and it takes finding people who understand nuance to get that. I get that now with my comedy because, you know, yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist. People always associate that with the right, but I'm an old school liberal, which is live and let live, leave me alone, don't hurt the kids, and you won't hear anything from me, and that doesn't make anybody happy. You know, I put out this special. It's called Potty Mouth. Yeah, it's pretty dirty. And I got people like, oh, God, why does it have to be this dirty? Well, that's why I think it's funny. You know, it makes me laugh. I've been doing it for 30 years. What is the issue here? But doesn't make the right happy, the far right, and doesn't make the far left happy. If you shoot either way, bang. And I've watched people do it, man. I go, dude, you got to go one side or the other, and they just shoot hard to that way. And they can say the most ridiculous shit, and it's not even that they have to believe it. As long as they're saying it's like Thomas Sowell's whole quote, you know, in a land of, it's basically with a population that demands perfection, only liars can thrive, right? It's like, and I butchered that one, but that's really the truth. I was watching this doc on Pee Wee Herman, and it's just like he couldn't get anything going doing him, so he came up with this character, and then he exploded. It's like you have to play this. You got to kind of put out this lie. Because that's what people expect. They expect perfection. They don't want flaws, even though they have 1,000 flaws. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. So, thanks for joining us, dude. Where do you want to begin?
Well, let's talk Epstein, shall we? Because that seems to be where every 101 things shoot off from. Epstein, and the latest thing I'll be looking into is this George Church fella. Don't know if you've heard of him. George Church. He's funded by Epstein. And he's a microbiologist scientist, and he's looking into basically technology that would allow people to store data to their DNA. I don't know if you've heard of the guy. Colossal Biosciences. So this is a thing called colossal biosciences. So we'll go from there, really, because again, this could go 101 million ways. But colossal biosciences, George Church. Now, these are the guys that just de-extinct if the direwolf. They called this direwolf Romulus and Remus. Did you see them?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the guy who runs this company. So he has also been previously funded by Jeffrey Epstein. Now, some of his other research, he's able to store data, JavaScript, JPEGs, and text to the DNA, and the DNA using CRISPR-9 technology is able to be reinserted into the body. So my theory is, where do you think this compromat is stored? Where's the safest place you'd hide it if you didn't want anyone else to find it?
In somebody's DNA?
You might stick it in your own DNA, wouldn't you? You stick it in your own DNA. And the whole point is, the whole joke they're having is that Ghislaine Maxwell's in a cell, and the bloody I'm not saying this is true. I'm saying that if you look to George Church, he's come up with this content, this technology, and he was funded by Jeffrey Epstein. That is true. That's fun. I mean, he's come out and apologized for hanging out with Epstein.
I love that afterwards. That's my favorite. Dude, I'm sorry. You know, I took all the funding and did all this stuff, but now afterwards, I'm super. It's like, get the f out of here. Sorry.
And this is after Epstein was also convicted in 2008. So this is like years later. So also we've got that technology there. They're able to do this.
So hold on, let me ask this. Do you even believe there's some Epstein files?
I believe if there are, they're inside Epstein. This is my theory, by the way.
I believe think the Epstein files are inside Epstein the body, or
Epstein the body, but also it could be Ghislaine Maxwell. It could be some of these young women that he abused. There's much more going on here, and I'll tell you why.
That is insane, dude.
It is insane, but the technology is there to do this. I'm not saying it's been done, but as an investigative researcher, you would look into that line of inquiry. It gets even darker. Just quickly on the Remus and Romulus section. So this guy de-extincted the direwolf, funded by Epstein, called it Romulus and Remus. These were the mythical founders of Rome. They were raised by a she-wolf in the mythology. Now, just not that far from Epstein Islands is an island called St. Barts. I'm sure you've heard of it. Diddy would like St. Barts. Abramovich loves St. Barts. The guy from Abercrombie and Fitch, who was done for trafficking young male models, loved St. Barts. Now, also Elon Musk loves St. Barts, and he conceived his 13th child on St. Barts with that lady a few months back.
Unbelievable.
Guess what they named the child?
What?
Romulus.
Damn.
There's a transhumanist agenda going on underneath these islands. I've looked into this for a few years now. I spoke to Juliet Bryant on the Daily, who was an Epstein survivor. She said she woke up paralyzed, naked, on a laboratory table while she was at Zorro Ranch. Just putting that out there. This is something to this.
Would you say that Epstein's dead, right, though? He's gone?
I don't know. I don't know.
I would doubt I don't think your microphone's working. I think we're hearing you through your computer. Just so you know. That's crazy, dude. That is crazy. That they can store DNA. They can store files in your DNA. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I know, and it's true. And it's true. You just Google George Church DNA to data, and you'll find I've been able to do it. So this can be done. This guy is funded by Epstein. So also Epstein is funding Palantir, as we found out very recently. Not Palantir, sorry, Peter Thiel, who created Palantir, CIA.
Yeah, for $40 million.
$40 million. So they're all connected. They're all connected, and it's like, this is mad. But it's two specific places we need to be looking at, in my opinion, is underneath Epstein Island and the surrounding islands, St. Barts, St. Thomas, those islands that all have submarine ports, by the way. And then under Zorro Ranch, and guess what else is in New Mexico? What? I know you know this, you've been doing this for years. Well, Los Alamos National Laboratory, Dulce Base, Trementina site, which is the Church of Spiritual Technology for Scientology, the Trinity site. At the Trinity site, and I've done a video about this week, L. Ron Hubbard, Scientology, and Jack Parsons, who was a Crowley follower, tried to do the Babylon working ritual, which was to create the homunculus shell for the Moonchild of Crowley, which really is Rosemary's baby. This is deep stuff, and this is all the connections are there. Now, I'm not saying this happened, but they're all connected. They're all connected in Zorro Ranch.
Hold on. So I don't want to jump too deep into your notes. I want to take everything and go through them because it's so interesting. So we're jumping, but I want to go. So you got us into Peter Thiel. That's been a big, topic on the show lately. I don't feel like people, even though we've been talking about, I don't feel that the masses really are at all discussing it at all. So let's get into what you're talking about. And, obviously, you might not know this, but people listening, we just dropped an episode with Eddie Bravo discussing the riots. The video that I made on Joe Rogan's podcast from 2 years ago about the next thing is going to be the immigration riots. It's everybody's talking about. It's like fun and also very scary because you're like, okay, nobody knew about that clip, and now it's like everywhere. And then you're like, okay, what energy is that bringing in? It's very weird. You don't know. It's like it's like really fun to go under the radar, but then when you say something that's like that, you don't know who's seeing it and who's not happy about it. Not that I'm important or anything like that, but they may not like that. So let's get into your thoughts on the LA riots and what do you think's going on there?
Well, this leads back. No, and you were right. I've just seen that clip and shared it myself, and you were spot on in 2023? I think you did that clip. Yeah. Spot on, obviously. So what we've got now, and no one's talking about this, and I've been poking the bear over at InfoWars to try and get them to talk about this. Why aren't they talking about the fact that Palantir has just been taken on by Trump? And then everyone had an uproar about it in our circles that look into this stuff, that know what that is, that people are concerned. Suddenly, we have these riots, and ICE have a $30 million, and it was signed in April, contract with Palantir to create something called the Immigration OS platform. What are the chances? Problem, reaction, solution.
Yeah.
Why are no one talking about this?
Yeah, that's so right. I mean, it's right there in documents that they need this to happen. And this is what, you go back to G. Edward Griffin's capitalist conspiracy and it breaks it all down there. And within that movie there, he's talking about how there was like some government hearing, and they interviewed this communist agitator, some communist student. And he basically said these billionaires were funding them to cause chaos. And that's it. So you need a problem, reaction, solution. It is getting, and I know I'm going to lose some people here, it is getting harder and harder to say, at least it's not Kamala Harris. It is. Now, I would say that most of the stuff you have going on with Trump would be happening, but you would add trans, feminist, and BLM to it, which sucks. But now, what do we got? We got like, you take out the trans, you take out the fat feminists, you take out the BLM, and you replace it with immigrants, tech overlords, and stuff like that. It's just getting harder and harder. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I didn't vote for any of the presidents, so I don't have any skin in the game, but it's getting harder and harder. And like when you study this, it's just like there's a big reaction to the Palantir thing, and then boom, this hits, funded by the Walmart heiress who like is pissed because of the tariffs, or that's the story that they're leading us into, and here we are. And there's a lot of people trying to call this out, and there's some like Mexican gangs out there that are kind of trying to kind of threaten people. And it's like, I'm never on the side of the state. The state is always the bad guy. The state wants a monopoly on violence, and so I'm never on their side. But I'm not saying that what you guys are doing is, I don't understand why you're doing it. I'm just saying you're being used to cause chaos. The cops aren't stopping anything. They're just kind of containing it and allowing you to destroy your area. You're helping them flip them into 15-minute cities.
Yeah, you are. Completely right. And what you're doing is you're providing the movie that they want. So you're acting out like the scenes that they need for their show reel to put it on the news, to sell Palantir. That's what you do. So they're directors. They direct the audience. They direct the actors that don't even know they're acting in a play because they've got genuine concerns. And this is the issue. They're genuine concerns about immigration. There's genuine concerns about people being sent to other places where they should not be. And then there's genuine concerns people being in the country that should not be. These are genuine people with genuine concerns being manipulated by people that don't care about them. All they are is a number. And you know, this number in this game of let's try and get people to accept this technocracy 15-minute and Palantir overlord, let's watch everyone. And this goes back to the smart grid. This goes back to the Internet of Bodies. This goes way deep into transhumanism. This is just part of it. Donald Trump is deeply involved with these people, deeply involved with the likes of Chabad Lubavitch, who are a messianic sect from Brooklyn, and I know you'll know about those guys. He's deeply involved with them. So is Netanyahu, and so is Putin. They're all involved with these guys. Yes. And they have a Kabbalah element to them that says that they need this transhumanist tech to see what they call Olam Haba, their world to come. Now, this is stuff that I'm not saying no one's talked about, because they are. A guy called Christopher John Biotis, you should get him on because he's fantastic with the Kabbalah. But this isn't about what you think it's about. And the fact that people are missing, purposely jumping over that Trump's massively involved with this, it is frustrating. I'm sure it's frustrating for you guys as much as it is for us.
No, it's absolutely insanity. And it's just, it just becomes more and more obvious you're not going to be able to vote your way out of this. And I don't know what that means because they're all controlled at every level. Someone said the other day that Pizza Hut is involved with the globalization, because they worked with the CIA, and the CIA basically disabled Russia, destroying the USSR. And then, Pizza Hut was able to walk in and just corner the market in all of Russia. I mean, it's like there's no good guys sometimes outside of independent people like us who just are constantly battling shadow banning and all that stuff. It's like it's truly insane. It's truly insane, but it's like I just don't understand how people don't see this. And last night on Twitter, and this means nothing to anybody, but I called for the resignation of Mayor Karen Bass. I was like, even if you don't believe that she is a part of this, and she is 100% a part of it, okay? On her watch, 2 insanely historic things have gone down that has burnt the city down. LA fires, and then immigration, these immigration riots. Regardless of what you think she's involved with, she 100% is. If you study her past, she's 100% orchestrating all this shit. But if you want to believe she doesn't, she has nothing to do with it, it's still on her watch, and she should be gone. If this was a basketball team or a football team or whatever team you're talking about, they would call for the head coach's head. No one will put up with this shit. But because Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass bake into their plans the fact that the progressive left is so insanely stupid and have no ability to question authority when it's from the left. They have no ability. The only time they'll ever question the left is if they're not progressive enough. That's it. But they'll never question what they're doing. That's baked into their plans. To be like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And then they're not going to say shit because they're idiots. And they're just never going to question anything we do. And then we just keep going, we keep going, we keep going.
It's all baked in, Sam. It's all hermetic principles. It's all the polarities. They base these things on old hermetic principles. They need the polarities of extreme left and extreme right to pull you back from, to clash. That's how problem, reaction, and solution works. When it actually comes down to it, it's an alchemical process. It's alchemical processes are everywhere. Money laundering's an alchemical process. They're all a process of turning one thing into another. So they need this chaos. So she's either there in it, as you say, and I don't know much about her, but I trust your judgment on that. Or she's so bloody useless that she's, keeping the door open for him anyway. So she's useful. She's a useful idiot. She's there for a reason that people above her are either she's facilitating it in one way or another. That's why she's there. The whole fake Gavin Newsom, Donald Trump fight. We had Elon Musk last week. All of that nonsense is all clearly WWE style nonsense. And you know, how long we got to keep doing this? Round and round and round and round we go, whilst the whole agenda moves forward.
Well, in the the words of the great Ron Placone, oligarchies help oligarchies, and that's what you're seeing right now. It's this pack of elites, these energy vampires, all working together, because it's very interesting what they want. They basically want a dumbed down, unhealthy population that cannot participate in government. That's what they want. They want you saturating in dumb data. They want you unhealthy. They want everything you eat to cause you great pain and suffering, so that you're unable to understand that the system is set up that our Federal Reserve funds everything wrong in the world, and our military takes our children and uses them as stormtroopers to curb stomp brown people around the world and take their natural resources. This is the empire. We are the stormtroopers. And they don't want you to participate in that. They don't want you to know how your government works. They don't want you to know how the Federal Reserve works. They want you to think you pay taxes to help stuff run. We just got to keep it running. No, your money goes to pay off the interest on the money printed by the Federal Reserve, because no bank lends money without interest, and that's it. That's it. And the whole thing about tax, I'm doing it right now. My ass is going to be steaming from the IRS getting deep in my guts by the end of the day. I'm going to have steam coming out my ass. That's how bad it is. It's so, like, it's gotten to the point where it's like you got money coming in, you're like, oh man, that's more tax. That's what it does to you.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. You feel like you don't feel like you're earning. You feel like you're being punished to earn. I completely agree with you. I'm self-employed.
Yeah, me too.
Feel the same. It's like, this is going to cause me more hassle than it's worth. I get that.
100%. And they're like, if you make this, we get this percentage. It's like, it makes no sense when you print your own money. Why are we paying taxes if we print money? It makes no sense to me. It's just sad, dude. It's just a crazy time. Guys, the crypto market is crazy right now. Bitcoin keeps shooting up. All right. And listen, there's so many cryptos out there. There's a good chance you can make good money if you play it right. And that's why you got to check out my guy, James McMahon, and Copy My Crypto. Let me tell you about Copy My Crypto. Guys, does it piss you off to watch crypto fly up in price for over a decade and you've still done nothing about it? It makes sense. Crypto is complicated and really boring. Well, here's the good news. You don't need to know a thing about crypto to make money like so many have. The CopyMyCrypto.com membership site shows you the exact cryptos that YouTuber James McMahon personally owns, which means you just copy him. It's like having a big brother that knows exactly what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing you don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest. You just simply copy along. So let me tell you about James. He runs the Crypto with James YouTube channel, which has so many more subscribers, and this says 54,000. It's way past that. Okay, he's got a ton of subscribers. In the summer of 2020, he told his viewers to buy 26 cryptos. Had you put $100 in each one, it went on to be worth over 123,000. Of the 26 cryptos, his top pick of the year, the one he singled out, Phantom, went up 692 times. That happens, man. That one call alone has retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify yourself. So if you'd like to join the over 2,800 members who copy James, then pause what you're doing and head over to copymycrypto.com/tinfoil. That's copymycrypto.com/TFH. Okay. You'll not only find proof of everything I've said, but our viewers get full access for just $1. Yes, you missed out on crypto. Buy a little bit here and there, buy a little bit here and there. But there's over 2 million other cryptos. Do you really think you miss out on all of them? Nope. Guys, don't waste time. Go to the site and read it. Once again, that's copymycrypto.com/TFH. It's ended money worries for so many. It just may do the same for you. All right, guys, I want to tell you about our good friends at True Work. That's right. Most gear gets built to look like it works. True Work is different. It's built for real conditions, hot rooftops, quick turns, jobs that don't ease up with sweat wicking fabric, unrestricted movement, and strength that holds up firm under pressure. True work helps you keep pace when it matters. We're not here to mimic hard work. We're here to support it. Every seam is intentional. Every feature is tested, because in this field, you don't get respect by looking the part. You earn it by doing the right things again and again and again. Okay. That's the bar. True work was built to meet it. The gear that works harder, moves better, and proves itself every single time. All right. And I got my true work on right here, looking good, hides my chi-chis. Okay. I look good. I feel good. I'm ready to go out and take on the world. Okay. I love it. It's great, dude. You know, every true work product is engineered for maximum comfort, protection, and efficiency with minimum bulk or extra weight. Okay. Upgrade to True Work for major change in the way you work. True Work helps you be the best when it matters, okay? I think you should check this out. I think I use this, and I think you should too. So here's what we got. Check out the full lineup and get 15% off your first order at truework.com/tinfoil. That's 15% off at truewerk.com/tinfoil. We thank them for sponsoring this show. So a lot of stuff about Epstein nobody talks about, and it's kind of crazy. What's really nuts is how all of these properties that Epstein owns, some billionaire comes up and buys it. They just buy it up.
Yeah.
The island, Zorro Ranch, everything else, they just buy it up, and you're like, oh, you just... You know, I'm surprised there's not a sign outside that says under new management, right?
Yeah, it basically is. Yeah, exactly. It is. And then they go on they don't, because they don't have to tell you. We know that Epstein, was it 3 weeks before the FBI raided, he was tipped off, and he had a £500,000, I believe, or £50,000 cement truck ordered there. What was he fucking filling in? What was he filling in? It's ridiculous. So, and then you had the video that came out a couple of weeks ago with the stuff on the chalkboard, and people were like, "Oh, this is some sort of code." He knew they were coming. He had a effing cement truck there. He's just, so whatever he put on the chalkboard, he wanted you to see clearly. It's totally ridiculous. It's all red herrings and nonsense. What's underneath? That's what I want to know. What is underneath there? They all had submarines. That's the big deep thing. And I genuinely think that all of this transhuman stuff can be traced back through Epstein. Juliet Bryant said to me many, many times that she didn't see any women being trafficked to anyone else other than for his own use. And I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying that she was a victim of him, a survivor of him. She had a payout. It's all official. She said that there was something else going on, and she wouldn't know what it is. And I think it's the transhumanist stuff. We know he was interested in it. We know he was funding these people. This is all to do with the ideology of the new world order, the world to come, in terms of making a transhumanist type being. George Church talks about something called handedness, which is basically your two hands like this. They're mirror images of each other, but you can't place that one over that one because they're mirror images of each other. What they're trying to do is make a mirror image of the human being. So all the cells that work on you are reversed in the other type of being. They're making a mirror world. That's why you have Alice in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass. All of this stuff is symbolic. That's why you have the bloody Freemasonic chessboard there, Solomon's Temple. The reason why 9/11 is IXXI, which is the sigil of Saturn. Well, the reason why all of this stuff happens, 9/11 in the biblical text is when the Solomon's Temple. I'm sorry, it's the Revelations 9/11. I'm not a religious person at all, but I study these things in a different way. Revelations 9/11 was when Abaddon came out the bottomless pit. It was a gateway. It's also the gate of Apollo. The Solomon's Temple, the first two, which I don't ever believe ever existed, they were supposed to be sacked on the 11th of the 9th, which again is the mirror image. They work in mirror images. So you've got a cult here, Sabbatean Frankists, I would say is probably the most appropriate name to them, that are working for all these different religions deep in there, and the Freemasons. They're all obsessed with Solomon's Temple, the Greater Israel Project, and this new world order, they call it Olam Haba, the world to come, which is all about epistrophy, going back up the Kabbalah, going back to God, which is the what they call the singularity. But now they're doing it through technology. So I've just put a video out. The Rosemary's Baby, Jack Parsons Aleister Crowley thing that I was mentioning earlier now is being done with technology. So it's very likely that these atomic weapons that they were doing at Trinity site were not about just testing atomic weapons. They were about trying to rip the veil. And I'm sure you've heard that from other people as well through the years. So there is more going on here than people realize. And it's got to do with the occult and an ideology that has this transhumanist. They call it the world to come. It's somewhere over the rainbow. It's the Noahide laws. All of these things just...
Yeah, it's a hidden hand that's involved in everything. Even these riots with Walmart.
Same.
You know, and the cover that's being laid with that is like they're angry with the tariffs. So that's why they're doing it. But in reality, it's like that's their role in bringing in the martial law.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do it. You just, it's your turn. You got to spend $1 billion on these riots, and that's how it goes. And it's so crazy to me that people don't see what's going on. And these useful idiots who are like, you know, the no kings guys, like you have no clue what you're doing. You're trying to install a system that has never ever worked because the people above won't fund it because you're taking away all their power, right? So they give you these fancy terms like no kings. You go out there and you destroy everything, and then they buy it up at pennies on the dollar, and then they slowly but surely start to enforce 15-minute cities. This is the useful idiot stuff all the time. Like somebody put out a video about Zionism. And I think it's, what's his name? Who started Zionism? Herzl? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and how he was an atheist. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he pushes a ideology that says God gave people the land. Well, you're an atheist, dude. It's not only that you don't believe you don't believe that God doesn't. There is no God to you. That's what you believe. There's no God. God does not exist. And it's just like, but yeah, it's so crazy to me. And there's dangerous things to say. There's some pretty dangerous people out there, like closeted gay men who are in power. Very dangerous because they are manipulated through blackmail. And the other one, and this is where I'm going to get in trouble, but atheists are very dangerous as well because they don't believe in God, but they support a cultural movement which allows certain people to do certain things that normally they wouldn't. There's no other religion they support, but they support one religion culturally and support them doing what they're doing, which makes no sense to me. Like, again, how can you believe that God gave people the chosen people land when you don't believe in God? You know, you see like the Bill Maher's, the Sam Harris's, like all these guys are like they tell everybody they're atheist, but yet somehow they are just unrelenting Zionist.
Well, they believe they're God. They believe that they are gods. They want to, in my opinion anyway, they believe that they are becoming gods themselves by using this technology and pushing this agenda out. And they will be none of them want to die. All of them are terrified of death. Saturn, Old Father Time, Kronos, whatever you want to call it. They're all afraid of death. When you look into this world to come, Olam Haba, it's not about the afterlife. It's about prolonging life here on Earth and living here, but changing this place into something else. They talk about bringing heaven down to Earth. They're not trying to die. They're trying to stay here and rule this place because they don't believe in God. They believe that it will just go to hell afterwards, or they've got to answer to something that they're not happy to answer to. They want to live forever. They want to be immortal. My next film is called I Am Immortal for Iconic, and it's about their never-ending search for immortality, which is ludicrous because no one knows what tomorrow's going to bring, so you never know if you're immortal, even if you live to 2000. It's ridiculous. But they want to be immortal. So they're selling the afterlife to the Christian Zionists. But actually, it's a death cult. They just want them to off themselves so they can leave the world to them. Leave the world to us. We want it. It's the whole point. So I've pointed this out a few times. I'm saying, like, obviously Donald Trump is not a Christian, but he'll play the role. He's even seen with the red tie on, and his son posted a picture of him with a red tie on and a goat's head, which is the scapegoat.
That's so really?
Yes, yeah, Donald Trump Jr. Put it in, and you'll find it. It's a picture of Donald Trump's head replaced with a goat's head, and he's wearing a red tie, looking in the mirror, which I've just said. What did I say about that? It's the reversal. It's the mirror image. It's the mirror world. It's through the looking glass. It's all symbolic. He's leading the Christian Zionists off a cliff, and he's telling you that the people that follow him, that he's the scapegoat. He's going to scapegoat the Christians for the sins
dude.
of this cult. And that's exactly what he's doing. And he's telling you all of this stuff. And I've been trying to point out this symbology for a long time. He will tell you the world to come, the rainbow used in LGBTQ. That's about going over the rainbow. That's about the light spectrum, living on the flip side of this light spectrum.
Yes, dude. Yes. People never realize that the gay pride rainbow is the exact opposite of your chakras.
Yeah, it's the Noahide laws in reverse. Oh, sorry, no, it's the chakras in reverse, but it's the Noahide laws, which is the opposite. So when you look at CNBC's logo, have a look at their logo, because their logo is the inversion of the light spectrum. They're telling you the inversion of the truth in their logo. They tell you.
That is crazy, dude.
So when you start to look at these things, you're like, this is all obvious what this is. And the Chabad guys are massively behind this. Now, I agree with what you're saying. I don't think they believe in any of this stuff. I don't think they're in any way traditional sense.
I totally agree, dude.
I think they're completely sabotaging Frankies, and they're using that as a front. Absolutely. I think they're the men in black. That the black hats is quite clear to me. They're the guys that are very, very close. And look at their ideology. It's all Lurianic Kabbalah. Very close to Trump, Putin, and Netanyahu. Now,
well, you bring up.
They are.
Okay, go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, they are. And like a lot of people say, well, that just sounds mad. It is mad. But if you had Charles Manson hanging around with Donald Trump, you probably ask some questions. If you look into their belief system, it's very much built around a chosen people, which doesn't include me and you.
Yeah, I it's kind of crazy. And you bring up Putin. I've been saying this forever. You know, the timing of Russia going into the Ukraine is right around when the veil of COVID was starting to get pulled back. People started asking questions, and then he goes in. Now, you know, you have these people on the internet that think Putin is some kind of good guy, and he's, you know, fighting the cabal and all this stuff. He's playing his role in the play.
Yeah, he is.
And when you study what is going on, you know, you had that Dave Portnoy. I don't know if you know who Dave Portnoy is. He's the head of a famous website out here called Barstool Sports. He's kind of became the Howard Stern of sports talk. And, you know, he had this giant, what was the purpose of me bringing that up?
He got canceled?
No, but he was going crazy because people were doing Jew jokes and all this stuff, and he was losing his mind, and you know, about how many more Jews have to die. You're like, well, right now you're at two of them, and we don't even believe those stories. This is how you know it's not real, when the story disappears in 2 days. You remember the assassination at the embassy? That was gone instantly. The bombing in Oregon, gone instantly. They have, even in this crazy cycle, if that was a real story, that would have been around for a very long time. And they're gone. That's how you know they're not real. But so he goes, how many to die? And I wish the guy would ask how many Christians have to die. And I'm sorry, but the Ukraine war right now has all the hallmarks of ethnic cleansing. When you realize that Zelensky is and Putin is, and they've killed like 1 million white Christians over there. And there's all this theory that Ukraine is going to be new Israel, because you go back to the Khazarians controlling trade routes, Silk Road, all that stuff. Fits perfectly into that. Slaughter a bunch of people. So there was this video of some tourists in Russia, and he was going to the nightclubs, and he said there's nightclubs there where there's no men. There's no men in the nightclubs. And you're like, yeah, I wonder where they went. Oh, to war and probably never came back. There, after World War II, I'd say about 20, 30 years after it, there were very few old men around because most of them had died in the war.
Hmm.
Nobody had aged out. So this is all like, this is the whole thing. It's like, okay, you have what's presented. How deep can you dig to find what the real layer is or another layer? And that is what kind of our job is. But it's all there. And and again, I've said this before on the show. Dude, they use Abrahamic religions as masks to walk amongst us.
Absolutely. 100%.
I mean, that Mark Levine guy, that insane Zionist who wants war with Iran, never going to fight in this war. That fat old, never going to fight. Sorry, Xavier. Every time I swear, he's going to have to beep it. So I feel bad for him. But you walk, there's a picture of him. And again, here we are walking around in some kind of religious garb with a giant black cube on his head.
Yeah. The cube of Saturn. Yeah, even Trump's got a cube above his place in Istanbul. Yeah. It's like I mean, they are blatant with it, but I agree with you. The three Abrahamic religions were, in my personal view, made to be played off against each other. It's classic triangulation. Get three people, three groups, three sections of society to argue over the same thing, when none of it makes any sense anyway. And we all know it's all lifted from mythology, Greek mythologies, Egyptian mythologies, mixed in there, Zoroastrianism, all sorts in there. There is a lot of, I think there's a lot of worth to it, but also it's a lot of it is alchemical principles, and like 40 days and 40 nights is alchemical of how you turn one substance into another. And that's whole putting the story of coming back as someone else. We know the dying and rising sun. We know all of that is clearly the day. So we do understand that these things have different, but they're meant to they're weapons to fight people, to divide people. We know that. And I don't believe, as exactly you said, that these people are genuinely, we would say it. And there's the whole thing about most people think the race. They do. They still do to this day. It's a faith, obviously. And how can you say because your mum's mum was, you're suddenly, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense because at all, does it? It's total lunacy. And let's call it for what it is. It's lunacy. It's a faith. It's something you choose to be. There is no genetic. We know that.
Johnny,
of course
your thoughts?
There is no genetic Christian. There's no genetic Muslim. There's more likely if you're in that part of the world. Of course it is. But
I think when you have I think what Sam is asking me to say is that when you have a group that was as cloistered as they were, there are going to be certain genetic characteristics they share because they had only bred in that small community for a while. So yeah, there are some things that they call traits, but that are
it's not actually.
Well, yeah, I don't know when
a race.
When does it become a race? I don't know. I
doesn't.
Just want it to be a race, but yeah, they do share. Because you can say like
curly hair, right?
DNA stuff. It's
like curly hair, big nose. That's what's considered genetic, right? I don't know. I mean, because I don't. Isn't that what part of genetics? Well, genetics, or is that because they breed in between each other?
Well, I mean, Armenians are like that. That's why Armenians have a weird genetic makeup because they were surrounded by Muslims and they only kept humping each other. That's why. It's just the truth. But
then you go to, so okay, you've got two things going on there, and I agree with what you're saying. I can see your point. Is your ethnicity is something that where you are, and obviously the people you live with, the DNA, it gets passed down. We know that. It has nothing to do with your ideology and the way you see the world and what you believe to be true about the gods and why we're here and your where you go afterwards and why we got here. That's a belief system. They're two separate things. They're two separate things too, and they're trying to intertwine like the serpents of the caduceus. They're trying to twist both around each other. They're not one and the same. One's a belief system, and one's a genetic inheritance. They're not the same, and they're just not. And one's more likely if you come from a certain place, but the same here. If you come from where I live, you're more likely to be Christian. But we all, especially now, we all look completely different. But I get what you're saying, and even the Khazar, even the nose thing is Turkish, not even it's Khazar. It's not even thing. It comes from
because ours, if you go back far enough, they're Turkish.
Yeah.
Which is why I believe Israel never recognizes the Armenian genocide, because that far back. Yeah, it's super crazy, dude. It's super duper crazy, and
it goes into other things, Sam. Just on that point, this cult, and it's a cult, they co-opt things. So like the term Semitic means a group of languages largely Arabic, spoken by the Palestinians. It's co-opted. They steal it. That's not what it means. You can't say you're anti-Semitic and then go in and kill a bunch of, genocide, people that speak those languages. It's absurd. But this is the mirror image, upside down, topsy-turvy world that Alice in Wonderland said, I hope I live one day in a world where nothing means what it means, basically, was the quote. And that's where we are. It doesn't.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. It's just very weird to me that we have seen people's programming override their biological drives, and there is a part of humans that are there to protect children. And yet their programming overrides that, and they're okay with calling 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds terrorists. And they get so caught into this fever that it's just so empowering. And it's just, they just go hard in the paint on it. And it's just crazy because they got crazy looks in their eyes. And they're all October 8thers. That's why I call them the people who stopped gathering data on October 8th. That's all they need to know. No matter what the Israeli government says, no matter what Israeli politicians say, that contradicts everything they heard on October 8th. They don't care. They don't care, because most people just can't come to grips with that. There's something deeper going on, and they can't come to grips that the people that they love, the people that they elected to represent them, don't have their best interests at heart, and they have no ability to question authority. It's almost like they're all Cabbage Patch dolls. Right? Yeah. From the orphan trains. Guys, it is the summer of chaos, and it should be the summer of love, okay? It is nuts out there. And then whether it's riots, whether it's the economy, the depopulation problem, listen, one company's working to fix all that, and that's our good friends at Blue Chew. That's right, an American company for American men trying to help you get as hard as you can whenever you can, okay? There's no better company at it, and that's why we love Blue Chew. Let me tell you about Blue Chew. Guys, you can have better sex with Blue Chew. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. And starting now, Blue Chew is offering a combo so strong it will knock your socks off and your neighbor's socks off. That's a lot of socks, okay? You'll have to move to another town with all the amount of noise you'll be making. Blue Chew Max has arrived, and it combines active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis into one chewable. That combo acts fast and lasts, okay? Get in it to win it, guys. It's really that simple. If you want rock hard boners that just keep the streets safe in the neighborhood, okay? Nobody's committing crimes if we're all getting mega dick downs, okay? Mega dick downs, less crime. That's what I've learned, okay? It's really that simple. If you want great sex, it's just a click away. Sign up, BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared, shipped directly to your door. The best part, it's all done online. That means no visit to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy, okay? So here's what we need you to do. Make life easier by getting a rock hard and discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we got a special offer, a special deal for our tinfoil hat boners, okay? You want a rock hard boner, or you like to see a rock hard boner, okay? Try your first month of Blue Chew free when you use the promo code tinfoil. Just pay $5 shipping. That's promo code tinfoil. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
it's sad because the people that are pulling all the strings on this have nothing in common with us. Well, we all have a lot of common with each other. We're just people messing around trying to figure it out. Have no idea really what's going on. We have different belief systems. We're all the same. We all just want an easier life. We just want to take care of our kids, and we all know this. And it's these people that are greedy, the gluttonous. They're psychopathic that want to just play us off against each other, and we know this. I'm not saying I have any solution to it because we'd have to go we'd have to kind of work our way out of this mess. But killing each other, killing children, come on, where have we got to? We do know this is. Where's the common sense gone? Where is the literal common sense gone? And it's. I think we're going to have to kind of get to the point. I mean, I hope it gets to the point where. It's not irreversible, but it is for thousands of people already who've already died because it's madness. And there's a small group of these people that do it. But when you tell them about this stuff, they're more inclined to believe that, I don't know, things like I find it always amazing that they think Jesus can come out of a cave and go up with his dad a few weeks later or a few days later when he walked down a hill. Then they can believe that Epstein might have been doing stuff under his island. I don't understand that logic at all.
One thing I will say is like, and I see this with the cold data guys, I'll call them, all right? The cold data guys, that there's this whole thing where, that they're super Trumpers and they can't question daddy and all this stuff. And I don't see that. And now maybe it's just my algorithm, but I do see a lot of people freaking out about this Palantir stuff. I think a lot of them are calling him out. Like, I've got to get Adam Green on the show again, but I said that Trump's going to lose his base, and Adam Green called me a crazy person. But I see it happening. I see people going, "We didn't vote for this. We didn't want this. You sold us on this, and we didn't get it. We're not getting anything we wanted. You told us you're going to get rid of the Fed. You told us you're going to get rid of the IRS. You told us all this stuff." There are people not paying taxes because they thought the IRS was going, and now it's like, here it is, and now it's taking all your money. But I see people calling out. I have way more faith in the religious right, or just the right bailing on Trump, than I do the left doing anything at all, because their whole thing is built on conformity. Now, I understand the right-left paradigm, but I have way more faith. I think this has gone so bad in Trump's first year. That's 3 years to another election. Now, again, we're not going to vote our way out of it. But what you can do is make it so incredibly obvious that the system is broke, even to the most idiotic, that something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the Libertarian Party, it's like herding cats. Like, good luck getting all these people that are anti-authority to agree on an authority. It just never happens. And then, I mean, what an easy way to send in like agent provocateurs into an insane asylum, which is like the Libertarian Party. You're just inviting Johnny, thoughts? You're
totally right. Yeah, it's
impossible.
Especially, if you're bored, just go watch some that you can just Google argument libertarian meeting, that kind of thing, and there's just it's a whole genre of, because there's the only thing you see, people who are Democrats and Republicans buy into the whole platform, and the only thing that most people who are libertarians are bought in on is the idea that they want less government. That's it. So they argue about everything else because they're just not joiners. You know what I mean? And I mean, I saw that with the Ron Paul thing too. It was because then you were trying to take people who really should be libertarians and get them to operate in the Republican Party apparatus.
Yeah. What's the take on borders or immigration when it comes to libertarian?
You gotta have them, but definitely not all this crazy shit that's going on now. Yeah, enforce the laws that are on the books, but keep it local as possible. I would say probably. And I again, that's another thing. I think it's personal. I'll tell you. Okay, what would the Libertarian Party say about it?
Yeah.
let's see. All right.
Are you gonna ask ChatGPT?
No, I'm just googling it. The Libertarian Party generally supports more open borders, arguing that restricting immigration violates the individual rights to freedom of movement and association. They see government and national boundaries as arbitrary, which I totally agree with. Some libertarians believe that even modest immigration restrictions are costly and ineffective. Yeah, my opinion would be that it should be left up to the local governments and the state governments. They want to band together and enforce the border. Sure. I mean, because what does a nation mean if you don't have borders? Is always how I felt about it. But the problem, I think, if you really want to get down to it, is the reason people want to come here in many cases is because of all the social programs. And if they didn't exist, you would disincentivize border jumping. So that's really where I stand on it.
But it's so many layers upon layers upon layers. It's like, okay, dude, you got this border problem. The cartels are smuggling drugs in the border. Who runs the cartels? The CIA.
Yeah.
So the people in charge of like stopping the drugs from coming in are the same ones that are come on, stop. Are the same ones who are smuggling them in. The same people in charge of who are smuggling it into the country, the same people who are there to stop the drugs from getting in. It's very crazy to me. It's so layered. At every layer there is a controlled opposition person, and and this is the weirdest thing of it all. It's like, so our mainstream media is supposedly dead. That's why everybody says, "Oh, dude, look at these ratings; they're dead." But how do their messages get out? How is it everywhere? And it gets into these ley line things that I've always thought about. How the earth is a power grid and there's ley lines, and on these ley lines, there's a way to kind of like project energy and ideas. And I know it sounds so nuts, but I really do believe there's something to it, that they use these ley lines to project this thing that they no longer need. They're obviously not getting the views, but yet this narrative is everywhere. And it's like, there's not enough people watching CNN. What's CNN's numbers? 1 million, sometimes 500,000.
It says, I just Googled it. It says that CNN during the week of June 2nd averaged 619,000 total viewers. And so I imagine MSNBC is less than that. So yeah, you're talking about just a few million on average. Yeah.
Well, yet it's everywhere. Like, their talking points are everywhere.
Though it's not. I guess it's not the same 600,000 at any given time. You know what I mean? Like some people may a different 600,000 are watching in the morning than are watching in the evening, I suppose. So but still, you're only talking. Let's give you generous.
Isn't that over like an hour? Like at this
20.
time slot,
yeah,
they get this number.
Well, yeah. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
I think one of the issues is, and I've looked at this, I can see what you guys think, is that because of the alternative media, one that they've hooked, some of them have hooked their wagon to Trump, and their whole business needs Trump and all of this stuff. Without it, they will collapse, and once he goes, they won't know what to do with themselves. They'll need someone else to replace it to. They built their whole business around it. But on the other hand, is that the alternative media often is a reflex action to the mainstream media. So they feed off each other. So we're commenting on the media. So instead of they say go and doing research into some weird stuff like I tend to do and a lot of other people do as well, they tend to sort of talk about politics and talk about the mainstream media and what they're saying. So the message gets out there by proxy because people are commenting on the news. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Reaction videos.
Yeah.
Reaction videos. Yeah, I understand that. I guess. I mean, on YouTube, there's some people, but I feel like there's a narrative that just doesn't get any traction. And it goes back to what Jim Lee came on my show and he talked about how they can just activate people, dude. They have these these radio waves and they can just activate people, man. And it goes back to the Nephilim Death Squad episode. It goes back to that, and just their ability with metal in your mouth and metal in your vaccinations. They can send radio waves, and it's crazy to me.
Well, do you have any ideas that that are in your mind right now that you don't know where they originated about the news, about current events?
Well, no,
You can't pinpoint to a moment where you saw them on TV or read them in a newspaper.
Well, Johnny, I do. I mean, like, to be honest with you, I do that all the time.
What?
Like, I will, like, I always tell you I'm psychic. You don't believe it because you just hate happiness.
I mean, because you've been wrong about some of the biggest things that happen over the.
Okay, Johnny. All right. What? Like what?
Like Biden being elected.
Nope.
Yeah, I remember I went up thousands of dollars from everyone.
Nope. You and I both know what happened in that election, Johnny.
Right. Exactly what I said would happen. It would be stolen and Biden would win.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But you and I both know what happened in that election. So I was right, and you just won on a technicality.
You said Biden was going to be president, but seriously, do you? I back to because that would suggest that now we have ideas in our brains, or not even ideas, knowledge of current events that we can't pinpoint the origin of. Is that? Do you sense
there are things, Johnny, I say this all the time on the show, where I play things out in my head, whether that's psychic or it's being planted. I don't know. I mean,
like current event, because you're suggesting that like they're like current event, how are these people finding out about, the opinions of Tucker Carlson or Anderson Cooper? I guess now would be a more apt example, that are being beamed into people's brains, right?
Yeah, I do believe that.
So are you getting liberal?
Maybe I'm not the guy that is easily persuaded. I do think there are weird thoughts in my head that I have, and I'm just like, okay, well, that's
what do some
weird.
People get Fox signals in there?
Well, Johnny, I don't know if have you driven across country?
Yeah, of course, I drove out across country.
They'll tell when you go through the states, the news updates you get on your phone change depending on what the political views of that state are. People talk about it all the time.
Well, okay, but that's actually getting an update on your phone. I mean, that's different than it being beamed to your mobile.
I understand what you're doing, what you're saying.
Well, you're suggesting that
example.
It's being beamed into people's brains without their consent or knowledge, right?
I do think that, yes.
Right.
So can I sit there and go, oh, hey, Johnny, how about this? At this moment, I cannot. But
what about your last thing? What about your last one, Sam? Was that Mel K? You said
yeah, Mel K said that.
But you say exactly like that, or was still somehow
okay,
yours?
Okay, great example, Xavier. The point of that clip is where I go, okay, they're not showing these Democrats who's boss. They're moving assets. That was something that popped in my head.
Right, but the government's not beaming that to your brain because they don't want you to know that.
But Johnny, how do you know? It sows doubt. That's all I'm saying. Now I'm saying, could it be psychic? Yeah, probably. Is it possible that it's possible? I mean, anything's possible. I mean, at this point, Johnny, you've been on the show long enough. Are you really ruling anything out?
I doubt that CNN is being beamed into people's brains. Yes.
So what do you guys think it is? I want to put this point out here. So I look at things in a different way in terms of, coding. So I think Trump was supposed to be the 45th and the 47th president because that's the 9/11 president.
Yes. So
what is that? Just get your take on that. What that is? Because to me, that's on purpose. That's the sigil of Saturn, 9/11. That's when Solomon's Temple was supposed to go down. All of that stuff, the Twin Towers, Salomon Building 7, all of this Kabbalah nonsense. Clearly, there's a code they're working to. So what do you guys kind of make of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's all called symbolism. That's my whole opinion. They just that is the script that they run from. They have to play to these numbers. That's their occult symbolism. That's how they let people know that they're a part of the club. That's how they let people know that they did this, that they, that's how they do. They leave. I saw somebody who was the other day. Who was it? 7C said this. He goes, the revelation of the method happens when they let you know when it's too late to stop them. That's an interesting take.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
That's an interesting take, but it's just built again. It's built into the way they operate. I don't know why it's there, but it's there. And, they give you symbols all the time. It's crazy.
Well, you just had Trump come out today and said a classic Freemason term. He used the rioters will be dealt with extreme force. Force is the Freemasonic energy that they play around with. You know, Michael Jackson was talking about the force in Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, and that was Freemasonic. Clearly, it is the force. They drop these little Kabbalah quotes in there, and I think I agree with Sam that it's a nod and a wink to say I'm in the club too. But is that was one force, golden age, all of these stuff.
Yes.
Like, once you start to read it, is it a mind thing because you learn the language, or is it because you're now tuned into it? You start spotting it. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that's much more intentional, and yeah, I mean it's easy because now some of the things I do wonder how much of the coding is just baked into our humanity. Do you know?
Yeah.
Especially at that level, because when you examine data sets, a few data points won't give you a pattern, but if you zoom out and you take them all in at once, then you can see the patterns emerge, and see the numbers that repeat and that kind of thing. And I do believe there's something to our humanity that's just coded. It could be the DNA, like you were saying earlier. That
was
and the Trump thing.
crazy.
I believe that too. I believe.
I think that's why I love your show and the guys like yourself that look into all of these different areas, because that's why it's so important. People get stuck in a little area of research and stay there for years. So you need to look, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, of a whole wide range of different areas. That's why David Icke is so good at what he does. I'm not saying I agree with everything he does. Says he's never told me to. I've known him for 6 years, been on stage with him. He's never once put his views on me ever, and I can say that hand on heart. But he looks in such a wide range of weird shit that he has an idea of patterns. And all we're doing is looking at, we're detectives. We're looking at patterns, and we can spot these patterns. And people have to work in patterns. Night and day. We have to go in patterns. We function in patterns. Our whole system of how we regulate the world is in patterns. The whole story of the land of Nod, of Cain getting banished to the land of Nod, was because there was nothing there. There was a black sun there. He had no point of reference. So he was in chaos because he had no point of reference. That was the point. So then he started building cities because he needed some structure. So we become very good at recognizing structure and coded language. That's what this is. But they have to work in that code. And I think the really good news for everybody is that once you figure their code out, it's a piece of piss to try and follow what they're doing. And they know now that a lot of people actually have figured this out. And they have to stick to that code now because that's their language. We've reversed the Tower of Babel. We've figured out what they're doing. And we've figured out their language. That's why it's important. And I think that's a really positive situation, and our contribution to this is that here you go, this is what they're talking about when they talk about rainbows. This is what they're talking about the golden age. This is what they're talking about when they're talking about the force, when they use the number 7, when they use number 11, when they do certain things. Why is he called Romulus and he's called his kid Romulus? I mean, it's logical. It's actually logical, but we've been told and taught that it's illogical because we're conspiracy theorists. Actually, as per usual, it's the inverse of everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's well put. And it is paradigms. And the more you play into those paradigms, the more you can get mass appeal. I see it in comedy all the time. Keep it simple, stupid is kind of where it goes. And the minute you make people think, the minute they get out of it, they kind of snap out of the trance. But I will agree with you, dude. I do think we're winning. It's just, it always gets darker before the light. I don't know how it ends. They could still get what they want. But I think it's getting harder and harder for them to pull their stuff. I think, these two assassination attempts, one again in Washington, D.C., one in Oregon, those died hard because everyone's like, bullshit. None of it makes sense. Where are the crime pictures? And they're trying to get more and more sophisticated, but who knows what's going to happen once AI gets so good? We may be just like, oh yeah, there's a video of it. You're like,
yeah, dude, that's what you really got to watch that movie Mountainhead, because it's all about what it's going to be like in the near future, where you can't trust anything that you encounter. And it could be if people take it that way, which I doubt they will. But if they take like, hey, we now, like what you just said, can't trust anything that we see on our computers, that could be great. That could be like a new era of just people relating face to face, and maybe newspapers become a thing again. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you,
I
dude.
doubt it, but
I don't know if newspapers will ever become something, but
something like that though, that's tangible, that was curated by a human being and not an AI, is valuable.
Do you know if the news has posted anything that was AI? Like,
yeah, the Chicago Sun-Times got busted a couple of weeks ago, and I think they got it from elsewhere, but the New York Times reported on it that they published a book reading list, like the summer's best books, and
so crazy,
half the books did not exist, and they quoted a fake expert from artificial intelligence, just hallucinations as they call them.
It's hallucination stuff. I think what you've pointed out there, Johnny, is really good. It's again, the principle of polarity. Something can happen, but there is always a positive and a negative to take from it, and it depends on what we do with it. It really does depend on what we do with it, and I think that we're lucky. I don't know about you guys. I feel incredibly lucky to get to do this for a living and live in the Western world.
Oh yeah,
like I'm commenting on some horrific shit every day that happening to these people, and we're the ones that get to try and sit here and talk about it. I feel incredibly lucky. I've got 2 little boys. Like, I've got a lovely little life. I don't want for much, and I just feel like my duty is to do this because I want to, because I'm very, very privileged to do this. But we're the safe one, we're the lucky ones. So I think there is a kind of duty to speak for the people that can't, that are really at the arse end of this in the Western, in the Middle East, in Gaza, in Ukraine, the normal people that don't want anything to do with any of it and don't understand why their world's been turned upside down. I do believe that we're the lucky ones, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, dude. And more and more people are waking up. People are starting to realize there's going back, kind of like what you're talking about, the mirror image. But it also gets in the fact that they've used this Federal Reserve to fund this false reality. And it's getting so bad. And what I've discovered, what I believe is happening, Johnny, I'd love to hear your opinion on this, is that diversity has not gone away. They're just talking less about it. They're doing less promotion of, oh, look at this diverse cast we have, anything like that. They're just kind of creating these shows, and it's going under the radar on that that they're super diverse. I don't see anything changing. It's really impossible for Hollywood to get the fuck out of its way. It's just really hard.
Well, what was it? It's that Russian word you keep quoting that I can't pronounce either.
I'll give it to you.
There's this massive glut, the pipes are clogged in the middle of the bureaucracy, and this includes Hollywood, with these people that were hired during, under the reign of DEI, and they've not been cleaned out, and they're going to be making decisions for a while to come.
Korenizatiza, Korenizatiia.
Good luck with that one. But yeah, it's right, and I do think now, especially with Hollywood, you won't see it for a while just because things take so long to make, especially the large things. Because like we've heard, Disney at the top at least has given directives, like, hey, we're not doing this shit anymore. You saw it in a small way with something that was already in post-production, White Lotus. They cut several storylines that were more kind of woke oriented, and that. So I think you'll see it a little, but yeah, I don't expect that's people, dude. They're not going away.
Did that movie, that Snow White movie, did that flop?
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was supposed to flop over her just complaining about the storyline and how it's so misogynistic.
And also the thing about little people, like them making these little CGI freaks instead of actually letting actual little people have those jobs. They created these disgusting monstrosities, and then they had a little person in the movie who wasn't one of the dwarves. It doesn't make any sense. It's just crazy.
Living in crazy ass times. Yeah, so what do you think the future of Israel is going to be, Richard? Do you think they survive? Do you think I just don't see how they can. I just don't see. I mean, like, you're now seeing Israeli soldiers getting arrested, I think in Canada. What? They just got arrested. I think, well, maybe I was wrong, or was it Thailand where I guess they committed this crime? But apparently, Canada is now looking into war crimes of some of its dual citizens. Like, does this give you any hope at all?
Interesting.
I think what's happening is that Israel, the people of Israel, not the government, not the IDF, the people of Israel are cannon fodder, and it's part of the narrative that they will be attacked. It's part of it. So the reason is that they need to go through this, and they see this as a kind of sacrifice, a purging. So in their narrative of their end times narrative, this is actually part of the narrative that all the nations will rise up against Israel. We've heard that. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have heard
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Bible. Yeah.
Yeah, so all the nations will rise up against Israel. So it's quite obvious to me that this is their cannon fodder as well. Only a small percentage of them are supposed to survive. We know there's Sephardic and Ashkenazi, and there is a class level there as well already, and people don't even know about that. So they're cannon fodder, and that's why they're out on the street, because I think they realise. But their biblical text says the nations will rise up against Israel, and then they will have a bloody fallout with the Christians on, I think it's Mount Moriah, isn't it? And then they go down before the Golden Arches, which is McDonald's, by the way, and all of this stuff. So they're all going to go to this bloody mountain. And I've got a theory about this, why the US will get the Gaza Strip, because they want all the evangelical Christians to be near this location for when this thing's supposed to play out on Mount Moriah, I believe it is. Or is it Mount Sinai? I think it's Moriah. It might be Sinai. You'll have the evangelical Christians waiting for their savior, messianic guy to come down, who will be from the sky, and then you'll have this physical person from the who will come along and actually be there and be their Messiah. And then you'll have these two faiths go at it, and you won't actually have the Christians won't have anyone, because there'll be no one coming down from the sky, unless I'm wrong, and that is all true. The whole point is that this is supposed to be a clash at the end there, and that's all to do with the nations, the 70 nations rising up against Israel. It's a setup for the people. They're using the Israeli people and that faith and this cult behind it, as we call it, as a death cult. I
agree.
Sabbatean cult.
I agree with the point.
They don't give a shit about the people or the faith. They're using the Israeli people to play out these end time prophecies. And that's exactly what, in my opinion, after 15 years of looking at this is what's happening. The Solomon's Temple is part of it. AI in Solomon's Temple. Look at Westworld. Westworld told you that the main hub, CPU hub in Westworld was called Rehoboam. Yeah. That's the son of Solomon in the biblical text. They tell you. They're telling you what they're going to do. But
crazy.
There was so much in that show. Yeah, so much biblical imagery in that show. I found that story, by the way, Sam. This is from January. A former Israeli soldier on vacation in Brazil fled the country suddenly after a case was brought against him there, alleging he was responsible for war crimes while serving in Gaza. The case is the latest in a series of lawsuits brought by the Hind Rajab Foundation. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that properly. That tracked the activities of hundreds of Israeli soldiers. So you got this watchdog group that's tracking the specific actions of Israeli soldiers, much like they did with Nazis post-war. Last week, a Brazilian judge ordered police to investigate the soldier, and they're saying that this is now a threat. The gist of this story was that, I'll just read the headline, Israeli soldiers face growing risk of arrest abroad after Gaza service. So they're making it difficult for these soldiers.
They will do, because the job's done in Gaza now. They've been used. Fuck them.
Oh, that's an interesting take, dude. The job is done, so you can just throw all these guys in jail. I mean, they're talking about how all these ideas, they're having a manpower problem. That's why they have to use women. They're having a manpower problem because all these guys are coming back and blowing their brains out.
Oh, no.
Sheesh.
It's funny, that's what happened if you believe the accounts of Himmler and the Holocaust. He went out and witnessed some of these shooting executions and was like, oh, this is horrible. This is really bumming my guys out. We got to figure out a better way to do this. This is nasty. And that's when they developed some of the more sophisticated, if you believe the story, because he was kind of a touchy boy, Himmler. And he didn't like the idea of his SS boys having to actually shoot people in a personal way. So yeah, you see it with our own troops come back. We lost a whole generation to suicide coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan.
War isn't natural. They try to make you think it's natural. It's not. And the type of war that people are seeing now is more destructive than ever.
And what was that war off the back of? It was back off the back of 9/11, the sigil of Saturn, which is the gate of Apollo, which is all Freemasonic stuff, and it was all to do with the Greater Israel Project, as you guys well know. Project for the New American Century. So who's pushing this? It's not the Israeli people, is it? It's not. It's this cult that sits behind them and others. You've got Netanyahu, Putin, and Trump all belonging to the same messianic sect. They're not. It's not a religious thing. It's an ideology.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree, dude.
How is he still in office, Netanyahu? It seems like things are starting to turn against him, right? Finally.
Well, I think they're going to throw him under the bus. I think he's just there, just like you said that Trump's a sacrificial goat. I think, I think that's Netanyahu. His job is to drive it as far as he could, and if he gets thrown in jail, that's just part of the gig.
It seems, yeah.
But it's also could be that he drives as far as he can, and then the Israelis throw him under the bus, and he's seen it by like some as a bad guy, and then by the real extreme, extreme Zionists, he's seen as a great guy. I think that they're all sacrificial lambs. Once you play this game, they can do anything they want with you. They could make you the biggest king of kings, or they can throw you out like a paper cup. They don't dude. It's like, what is your purpose for them? What is your use for them? And that's kind of how it goes. So, now we get in Twitter, which Twitter, I like Twitter. It's addicted to me. I'm trying to get off it. I got a new phone. I'm not putting any social media on it or anything like that. But then what is Twitter about? We all know it's data mining. That's fine. But is it go deeper? Is all this anti-Semitism stuff that's allowed to flow on there? Is that meant to scare? Is that meant to scare? They can't leave their house, so then they move to Israel, which is again part of this whole prophecy stuff, and that's what you get into. Is like, is that also part of what Hitler's job was? I 100% believe Hitler was a British spy, sold boy ass when he was younger, which is consistent with all of these guys that they insert into power. They have a sexual history that they can exploit, and then they get them into power and they do their bidding. That's my thoughts. Any thoughts, Richard?
The X thing is fascinating because when they were going through it's funded by the Qatar National Sovereign Fund, something along those lines, has funded them. So that's Qatar. And he was in Saudi Arabia, always in Qatar, with Jared Kushner watching a football game with the guys that helped him fund and purchase, and I will say I don't believe he owns anything, X. So they've got this Qatar and Saudi Arabian connection here to that. Now, you would think that Jared Kushner, who's a Chabadnik, which is this Messianic faith. Yes. What is he doing in Qatar watching a football game with Elon Musk? In the Qatar World Cup, where they're talking about the purchase of X, because they're all in the same thing together. Because again, it goes past the Saudi royals, who are the fake Saudi royals, and it goes into
British intelligence.
British intelligence. It goes into, we all know that happened a long time ago. This cult doesn't see boundaries. It thinks it owns everything. So it's sabotaging, it's sabotaged. It's like a virus. It's gone in and it's taken over all of these things. So that's why you see these weird connections that really, hang on a minute, that shouldn't be there. But they are. They are there because they all work together at that level. And I think we know that. We come in knowing that. And then sometimes some alternative media groups forget that because it doesn't fit the narrative anymore. But it's quite clearly we know that this isn't about countries. This isn't about anything other than a global corporation. The X Corp will be a global corp. So Twitter is a fascinating one because when you look into the funding, straight away you're finding Qatar and you're finding Jared Kushner in there with the Qatar guys. That shouldn't be happening. That doesn't make sense. If Saudi Arabia and Israel are mortal enemies.
Yeah, I agree. But the question becomes, who's running Israel, who's running Saudi Arabia, and I believe it's the British Empire or the Bank of England, and then above them is these black nobility people that we never hear any word of, and it's like all these people are low hanging fruit. Netanyahu's low hanging fruit. Zionist, low hanging fruit. Mark Levine, low hanging fruit. They want you to focus on them and not the higher level. So I had a friend of mine hit me up because that clip is going everywhere and everyone's, saying, wow, you called this shit. Right. Okay. And then she's like, I'm freaking out. And because she's kind of new to it. And I go, the key, you're going to get crazy at first and you're going to want to save everybody like Paul Revere yelling and screaming, the lizard people are coming. And so you go through the pills. You start out blue, then you get a red, then you get a black, and then you get a white. And the white to me is that you can't control any of it. You can only control you and yourself. And for me, the key to knowing all this stuff is so you don't fall for their psyops. You don't allow their energy draining psyops to control you. And that's the key to me. That's really what it is at the highest levels. Like, just get closer to God. I don't know what your personal opinion is on God, and it's whatever it is. But I find that the closer you get to source, anxiety goes down, depression goes down, you get in better shape and all that stuff. And it's like easy versus simple. Our whole society's built on easy. It's drugs, alcohol, fee, quick fix shit. And the other side is prayer, meditation, working out, helping others. Like you do all that stuff, things seem to get better for you. What are your thoughts?
Well, I believe in it. I mean, clearly this place is designed. There is a design. I'm not saying it's a Matrix style trap. That's probably something I don't actually buy into. I don't think it's a healthy mindset, but I do believe there's clearly a design to this place. So I believe there is a God in terms of a consciousness and an intellect. There's clearly a design to this place. It's not an accident. So I believe there is a God, yes, if you want to call it that. I don't believe in any biblical God or biblical text or any that way. I don't believe there's a bad God and you get punished for this. I mean, who would do that? I mean, if that's the case, screw that. Who would drop their kids off at school and then tell them off for not knowing their way home? Like, it doesn't make sense. If God wanted us to do certain things, well, he hasn't given us any bloody directions to do it. That's abusive. That makes no sense. So I do believe there is a God. But I believe that really what it's about, obviously, as you know, we used to live in small tribes. We used to live with our families. And I feel like I get to do this and what a blessing it is to contribute. And when I leave this place, like my dad passed away 6 months ago and I was there and holding his hand, saw him go, looking up, he was looking at something. And I believe that when I go, I'll know that I at least tried, had a go. I was all right, did my best. I wasn't a bad, I wasn't an evil, nasty piece of work. And I had a go. And, I'm quite happy with that. I'm not meant to solve any problems or solve all the problems of the world. I have no idea what's going on any more than anyone else. And my kind of philosophy of life is there's a kind of analogy that I've got is that we've all woken up on a plane, on an aeroplane in the middle of the air. We've all just woken up on it. None of us know how we got there. None of us know who each other are. None of us know where we're going to land. No, and the bloody driver or the pilot won't speak to us. And we have no idea how much fuel's left in the tank. So we might as well just try and enjoy ourselves. Because I don't know what's going on. I have no idea.
I wanted to ask you something. What's your take on Russel Brand?
I think that I don't think personally I don't know, but I don't think he's guilty, or I don't think he can even remember. But I think that they've got him by the hooks. As soon as all that happened in New York, by the way, who runs New York? These guys do. He was straight on there, chucked off YouTube. Peter Thiel gave him a home on Rumble. He was pushing the Peter Thiel app, the Hallow app. I think they got their claws into him, and he's scared. But I don't know if he's I don't think he can remember, if I'm honest. But I don't believe that Channel 4 documentary was ridiculous. For that to come out and then all this stuff to happen, and suddenly he's found Jesus. He's basically doing as he's told. He's scared, and rightly so. He's got children. I don't know whether he's guilty. I don't know that. I generally don't think he was, but I also think he was off his nut for 10 years, so who knows? And he's got children. He's a parent. Them kids have got to see his dad, but he's compromised in a way that maybe he hasn't done anything wrong, but how can he find his way out of it? He's in there with Thiel. He's turning up at Trump's parties. They've got him. And I feel it's sad, really. I think it's really sad. And this is the dangerous game you play when you try and take all the money and the fortune and you chase the fame. That's where you're heading.
So I want to end on this. Been a great episode. I don't know what your take on the P. Diddy is, if it's more of an American thing than anything else. It's like this guy's dirty laundry is just being put out. A lot of people, you know, we just had Ellie Sadiq on the show. He thinks P. Diddy's getting off. I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. But man, this guy, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's worse for Diddy, going to jail or getting off and now have to like what's the word? Into society, reintegrate. Into society. I mean, it's crazy to me. So this is the thing that just came up. Brad Binkley just put this out. It's from the recent day of P. Diddy's court case. And this is what a chick testified to. Ready? Diddy's wildest sexual fantasy involved a twisted NBA role play, casting himself as Michael Jordan, his ex-girlfriend as Kobe Bryant, and a male escort she regularly set up with as Shaquille O'Neal.
What?
Yeah, the ex testified one day that the fifth week in disgrace rap moguls trial. Dude, that is so funny, dude.
You know, wait, that's just... All right, sounds fun. That doesn't sound too bad to me.
Does it even sound? Do you think that's real?
I don't know, Brad Binkley.
No, I don't. No, I'm not saying like. What I mean is, do you think what's coming out in the trial is real? Like or do you think this is just a show? Like,
it definitely could be a show. I think it was all a show. I think Alex Jones' trial was a show. There was just things that happened in there that made no sense. Now, I'm not saying they aren't coming after his money, but. You know, I mean, like when his lawyer sends the prosecution all these files.
So crazy.
And he's like, can I use this? And the lawyer's like, oh, I don't know. And
he should get a new trial just for that. Just, I mean, anybody else would.
It was absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I'll take you on a small rabbit hole with P. Diddy. This is what a lot of people haven't looked into. P. Diddy was doing his dirty deeds apparently on St. Bart's Island. We talked about it at the start. All of these guys, it's right near Epstein Island. He's also pictured with a lady called Rachel Chandler Guinness. Now, he was in business with the Guinness family and they had a big fallout earlier. I think it was early this year or early last year. And the Guinness family are a very rich and wealthy family. So once that started, it seemed to kick off with all this investigate Diddy. Now, Rachel Chandler Guinness, married into the Guinness family, but as Rachel Chandler, she was very much involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, Rachel Chandler Guinness got married, and in their marriage, it was a weird wedding, because they had a guy dressed as a white rabbit bouncing around for the whole thing. Now, this is all weird stuff that these do. It's all symbolic. So she is deeply involved with them. She's in with Epstein. She's seen with P. Diddy. And then she marries into the Guinness family. The Guinness family are in business with P. Diddy. They have a fallout, and suddenly he's in court and all of his dirty deeds are coming out. That he was doing on St. Bart's, which is an island that Peter Mandelson and Jeffrey Epstein went to. Abramovich owns a lot of properties there. And this is also where that Abercrombie and Fitch guy was doing his dirty stuff. Right near St. James Island, right in the Caribbean islands, near Virgin Islands. There's something weird going on here. And even more weird was there is an old Rockefeller mansion on that island, right on the shore, so submarines could get there. And there was a couple, go on YouTube it, look, Rockefeller Mansion, guys, YouTube it, and they go round it, this couple around it, and they find, and I guarantee this, a white stuffed rabbit there. It's an abandoned mansion, they find it in one of the rooms. Symbolic everywhere. It's really weird. So there's something going on here down the rabbit hole with all of this stuff that's way beyond what they were doing in terms of just trafficking these women. I go back to the start. I think they were doing something with these women's eggs. I think they were harvesting these female eggs for this transhumanist agenda.
Is this it? Is this top video here? This St. Bart's chilling abandoned Rockefeller mansion tour? Is that it?
I think that might be it. Yeah. Yeah, there's a little bit in there. It's a couple. Right, fairly towards the end, and I'm not sure if it's just I think this is abandoned. So just go. Yeah, it's quite far along. You saw the checkerboard floor there.
So I could just move in there.
It's round about here somewhere. They see it at the top, and they find a white stuffed rabbit, I believe.
Oh, there it is. Hold on. There it is.
You see it?
Whoa.
You see it?
Yeah.
There it is.
That's crazy.
Whoa.
What's that doing in a Rockefeller mansion?
That's so
On
strange.
St. Bart's.
Imagine being so rich you can just abandon a mansion. You see that a lot in like Atlanta too. Like all these rappers, they go broke and they just get rid of their mansions and they just sit there and no one can afford to buy them. Just crazy, dude.
And they won't. I guarantee you, they won't sell it to anybody. You know, if someone offered like, "Hey, I'll take it for $1," you know, just let me fix it up. I guarantee you, they're like, "Fuck you, bitch." Do you know what I mean? Like, they just wouldn't do it.
The island, they'd have to sell you the island.
Yeah, they could lease it to you for $1 or something. You see that rich people will do it with other rich people, but not for somebody that would come in there. Because you see it. Like I was watching this. This guy has this YouTube channel about he likes to go and find old aircraft and see if they'll start, you know, and buy them for cheap. And there was this old Elvis Presley jet that he thinks was used by the CIA as like in a sting operation to find people who were scamming people out of their money.
Yeah.
But this jet had been sold like a dozen times from rich guy to rich guy for $1. Because
that's
I don't
so
know, like
crazy.
money laundering or something. They could use it as like,
That's
very curious.
That's how Jeffrey Epstein got one of those mansions. Didn't
Yeah.
sell it for like $1 or like a trade for $1. Where
And then by the time it finally got to a regular person, it was being billed for what it was worth. But all these rich corporation people had passed it around for $1. And you could see it on the title.
Well, you don't pay taxes on that. What are the taxes on $1?
Well, you still pay the property tax, I guess, but that would be it. You wouldn't, you wouldn't have to pay any.
Well, they do a lot of the money laundering through paintings. That's why he was so involved in painting.
Oh yeah.
Do you know another thing they can do with paintings? There's a certain type of paint that they can store data in.
Really?
The paint itself. Yeah.
So crazy deep. It's so crazy deep, dude.
Mad, isn't it? Mad world. There's a whole different world going on here that we don't know about. And Abramovich, by the way, pretty much runs St. Bart's and he's in with Putin. So there you go.
It's crazy. Richard, always a pleasure to have you on. You crush it. Tell them one more time where they can find you.
You can find the video work on iconic.com, WTF Rich, so WTAF Rich on X, and Substack, richard.willett on Substack, and you'll just find me on there on the articles. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Lovely to chat with you all.
Anytime, buddy. All right, let's break down the episode. All right, let's get into it. Richard Willett came in, dropped the hammer. Always a great conversation. Always a great conversation. That stuff about Epstein and George Church DNA data store, like where are the lists? Oh, it's in Epstein's DNA. And now there's all this stuff about Epstein still being alive. That's being dragged out, which is more chaos, so no one knows what's happening. It's just we are in a FUBAR war. That's what it is. Everything.
Well, imagine the fight if he is dead, though. Imagine because his DNA is still, is extant. You can draw DNA from a corpse. Imagine the fight over that corpse. If there's that shit's embedded in his DNA.
Oh shit! I never even thought about
the reason they would want to keep that off the books, right?
I mean, and if they have his DNA, can't you just clone him? Can't you just make another Epstein in general?
Can't you make another person with an egg dick?
Use anybody to do that. Wait, was that Epstein or was that
Epstein had an egg dick?
Oh, but that was also what's his name? The
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, Weinstein.
Wait, what up?
No, but he had them in China. They said it was like weird.
No. His balls were stuck to his thigh because he had like
Well, that happens to everybody sometimes when it's a little sweaty. Yeah.
But so you're saying Epstein wasn't carrying no type of weight. He wasn't no heat. Wearing no heat.
I don't know what you think I'm saying.
You said that.
Am I saying that I don't think Epstein was packing?
Yeah. Do you think he was or wasn't?
Well, it was in the depositions, right, where the guy asked
supposedly had an egg dick.
That you have an egg-shaped penis, and they
all right, my client's out of here.
Yeah,
let's go. I mean, dude, just imagine having like an egg dick.
Well, you know what I was thinking, like, what could that be? I bet he had a really tiny one, and he got an implant. You know, 'cause
Oh
they inject
God, Johnny. Oh
they inject
God.
shit into your dick, bro. And
It is really crazy that they haven't made huge advancements in big dick technology.
they got to work on that, bro.
I mean, they're working on AIs. They're working on time
Would you
machines.
take okay? So they cut John Bobbitt. His dick got cut off, right? That's his name, right? John Bobbitt. Was that his name? I can't remember. Anyway, Bobbitt's dick got cut off, and they reattached it, and it worked. He did like zombie dick. So begs the question, right? Could you take a dick off a huge dick corpse, stick it on yourself, dick transplant?
Yeah, but isn't it something about blood is different? And
Well, that's why, but you would have to be like any other transplant. You'd have to match blood type and that kind of thing. And
no, here's what it is.
Immunosuppressant.
Clones, they fix it. You get so the clone has all your biometrics and whatever you need. And they make it, and you just have a fat hog.
Well, what about when we get in this era of CRISPR tech where you can have a designer baby? What are you going to dial in for the dick size for your boy?
Over 8?
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point it becomes like a hindrance, like 10 inches plus. Then you got problems.
I think women need to start getting honest about dick size, and we can't. It's just like, okay, 7, 8, is that good? Is it girth? What is it?
Well, you got a lot of wide set vaginas, says Larry David.
Yeah, women don't want to talk about that. They always want to make it about dicks.
Remember
it's
that?
Back when I watched 6 days ago. You remember those days? 6 days ago. So you just see chicks taking these giant hammers like it was nothing, and you're like, oh, because you got a wide set vagina and you're built for hammers.
Or you had a baby. It happened.
Yeah,
blows that shit out, dog.
That's true. That's gonna be XG's next guest on the show. Pregnant stars. We dig dick though. We dig deep. Some guys, Johnny, can you go to the real quick? Can you go to the Apple comments on this?
On what? On this
the 5-star reviews? Yeah.
On tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
What's the review? And Sam's already smiling. What did it say?
You want me to read it?
Yeah, please.
All right. Hold on. Which one? How far back?
It involves Xavier Guerrero.
4.6. We got to up that rating a little bit. Help us out.
Never. It's too old. It's been around too long. Okay, it's the second one.
Second one, great show, but Sam still needs his training wheels. All I have to say is it's a great show, except Sam, you treat XG so mean. I actually appreciate his questions, even though you think they aren't as good, and you give him guff all the time. Give him guff. Is this real? Also, Sam, let your guests speak more. Just as this is a 5-star review, by the way. Just as they are making a great point, you interrupt, but mostly leave XG alone. He's a great addition to the show, and his input is valid and appreciated. Signed, XG. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to read that part. This was from
there's an XG army out there.
There's an XG army out there.
15632.
It's just all the Mexicans. Be careful, guys.
I have noticed that the people who say that it's like a Latin thing. Yeah, I have noticed that.
It is a Latin thing.
People that don't realize we all talk shit to each other on this show.
Yeah, everybody gets
in
shit
real life.
Equally. Everyone gets shit.
I get called all the time.
Never on camera, though. Never on camera.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've
never on camera.
Got many BS demonetized.
Should we show them our thread, our message thread, Johnny?
What?
This tag get thrown in there on our thread.
Come on, bro.
What are you narking us, dude?
What are you narking?
Hey, Sam, you're being negative here. You're giving him guff. I won't stand for you giving XG any guff anymore.
What guff? I haven't heard guff in a while. What's guff?
Yeah, that's because you're not an 80-year-old man like Pete here. Guff.
Okay.
Stop
now people are calling me a conspiracy theory, an intelligence op because I said that stuff on Joe Rogan. And what they're idiots is that I never said I talked to intelligence agents because I don't talk to intelligence agents.
Mel K said that.
Mel K said she did. You dumb tard. Unbelievable. Guys, go to samtripoli.com. Check out my dates. Pass. Here we go. Bohemian Grove, if it's happening. Will be June 20th and 21st. Then there'll be San Diego. I'll be at the American Comedy Company July 17th through the 19th. Keep going. Bang, bang, pow. Boston, Broadbrook, Kansas City, you name it, I'm going to be there. I can't wait. Go samtripoli.com. If you have cities I want to play, hit me up. If there's cities you want me to play, hit me up. Go, Sam. Then go Cash Daddies. Talk to me, Johnny.
Cash Daddies, yeah.
Dude, we went up 6 more. Damn.
They're killing it.
He's back on track this month for sure. And he has some good suggestions about how you can survive the turbulence in the markets right now. I'll just say that. I don't want to spoil everything, but yeah, go check it out. He's got some ideas right now about how to what you should be doing with your money to make it through this bizarre time. Now, I'm not talking about the end of the world, obviously, but
and I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I'm up on a lot of things that Howie's told me to do. Up.
Why would you lie to me, Sam? Why would you lie?
Why would I lie?
Exactly.
Go back, samtripoli.com. Why don't you close some of these open things? Go back. There we go. Chaos Twins moving forward. Very excited. Episode 2 is now being drawn. Almost done. We're very excited. Very excited. What else do we got? T-shirts. Go to T-shirts, guys. Great way to support the show. We got new T-shirts coming out all the time. We got the global controls, the global domination T-shirt. Go back.
Only 100 made of those people.
Oh,
Only 100
shit.
made.
I didn't know that. Okay, nobody told me that. Dare. Go back down. I mean, look at it. It's a great way to support the show. Get up on your merch.
$15. Where do you find a $15 T-shirt?
Where do you find a $15 T-shirt?
Boon Shakalaka is the only place to get that kind of value.
Oh, rest in peace, Boon Shakalaka.
Miss him. I got some cool shirts from that dude. Legit cool, like vintage Floyd Mayweather, Canelo.
One time I said he had AIDS, and he just wanted to kill me.
How was he going to kill you? Just bleed on you? Is that
yes.
The plan?
So Rife Technology, everybody. Rife Technology. Someone just bought it. They're super happy with it. Someone had Lyme disease and helped cure them of that. This is what Matt Rife told me.
Wow.
AquaCure Hydrogen Brown Gas. We love you. You love me. We're all a family here, okay? So check out AquaCure. You need hydrogen. It's why you're aging so quickly. Harley Ray. We had some sales on there. We love them. They might be coming on as a bigger sponsor. So we're very excited about them. Can't guarantee anything, but we're very excited about them. Of course, right after this, I'm going to be taking my chemical-free body supplements. I love it. Tim James came on, crushed it last time. It's a crazy time to be alive. Get in shape with our good friend Joel Staley, dude. All right. And then EMF Rocks. Great way to, I got to get some of those. I got 3 phones now. I need some of these bags, dude. I got to call them. Prometheus. I know Leonora and Joni got their website. And then finally, Brain Supreme. If you love all the questions that Xavier has asked this episode and the last episode, and the episode's about to drop, you're going to love Brain Supreme. So go down all the telegrams, all my shows there. I got to add Doom Scrolling. We took 2 weeks off because of birthday and then taxes. We're back next week, and I got so many videos. I'm gonna only have to do bangers, nothing but bangers. It will be the best doom scrolling ever. Radio, 24-hour radio. If you want to hear Sam Tripoli 24/7, bang, you're living your best life. And all my specials, Potty Mouth, Black Crack Robots, they're up. Finally, the new YouTube is up. YouTube.com/tinfoil hat YouTube. Tinfoil hat YouTube. Totally toxic. There we go. First one's up. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. And we're going to start uploading them as we go, building it up piece by piece. All right, guys. Enjoy these highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
It's weird. And you know me, I love catastrophes in LA. Because you know what that equals?
Death.
No. Great traffic. No traffic.
Oh.
You can get around anywhere you want. I got here. I always planned to be about an hour drive. Got here in 30 minutes because nobody's on the road. Nobody wants to drive. They don't know when these people are going to shut down, some highway,
freeway,
right?
Yeah. You don't want to get stuck on the freeway. Nobody's taking damn Waymo. I can tell you that shit.
Oh, dude, you see that? Someone commented, I wish I knew his name, but it was the funniest thing. And he goes, this is where Cybernet gets pissed. When we blow up those cars, this is the genesis of their war against man.
Yeah, we're scanning all your faces right now.
And my favorite thing is how they're all lined up, like a nice presentation right there. They're just all lined up.
Yeah, it's like all the bricks and then all the Waymos lined up nicely for
all the bricks and Waymos, bro. That sounds like a great country to live in. Bricks and Waymos. Anyways, so
it does kind of sound like Turks and Caicos, where we're the #1 podcast.
Are we still, dude?
I'm sure we are. We must be. We must be. I tour like the 3 bars on the beach.
Yeah, we'll just sell out a beach. Bang some Turks and Caicos ass.
All this footage. So there's all this footage, and I don't think there are as many people on the streets as they show. But have you noticed?
Well, you called it, Johnny. Didn't you say it when we had an Eddie Bravo episode just dropped? We got into it, but I think you said it. They're all media people.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, it's that you look around, and there's just a line of people all with cameras. There are more journalists there, or just as many journalists as there are protesters.
All these great shots. It's just so ridiculous, dude. And then it's like It's like, listen, dude. You on team people or team Fed? Always team people. Always team people.
Yes.
Do I think it's right that they should be grabbing people at certain moments, ripping them from the Fed? I do not. No. Okay. Is this the first president to deport people? No. Not even close. He's not even putting close numbers to the guys before him.
He's just doing it with a little more.
It's just the difference between him and the rest of them is that the media's told you to hate him. And you just listen to these people. And there are people I love. I mean, I absolutely love them. I do not know if they love me back based on my political views, but that's okay. Daddy's at an age where it's like, I can love you and you don't have to love me back. I'm okay with that. Okay. But the things that these white progressives are saying on the internet, these white
dumb,
it's so dumb because, and listen, dude, I am always on team people. Always. Even if I think they're being manipulated, right? I prefer the people. Now, we've had within the last, we'll say, 9 years, we've had some situations, right?
Yes.
So we'll go through BLM, January 6th, COVID, LA riots. Now, if you study progressives, they flip-flop on all those all the time, right? So the BLM people were freedom fighters.
Yes.
The January 6th people are insurrectionists.
Yeah.
The COVID people are trying to keep people safe, right? And then now the LA rioters are just fighting for freedom.
They're like the new George Washingtons. Yeah, that's what they are. Even though they're
sorry, guys, baby AIDS. So, and it's all depends on where the government stands on that they decide who is right and wrong. Okay?
Yeah.
My whole thing is like, I can study all those and go, where's the hidden hand in it? That's my problem. They're all agent provocateurs. Now, all this shit's coming out, Johnny, about all these Craigslist ads. Have you seen this?
I have, yeah.
Looking for someone to get rough. And it's very weird that a LA rioter advertisement and a BDSM gay man advertisement sound exactly alike. Looking for a rough guy, ain't afraid to fight, won't give up, take a punishment.
It is really, yeah.
Like, are you looking for an insurrectionist or a gay lover? I can't tell.
Here it is right here. Okay. Now, take it for what it's worth. Anybody can post the Craigslist, obviously. It could be satire, who knows. Looking for the toughest badasses in the city, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Seeking extremely tough, brave men for a new crew I'm building. Yeah. Compensation is $6,500 to $12,500 per week. We are forming a select team of the toughest dudes in the area. This unit will be activated only when the situation demands it. But you get paid every week, whether you're taking it up the ass or not.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
High pressure, high risk, no room for hesitation. We need individuals who do not break, panic, or fold under stress and are basically all around kick-ass dudes. Physical strength, speed, conditioning, it's all important, but mental toughness is everything. If you're not the biggest gay guy in the room, but you're the one people follow when things go bad, that's who we're looking for. And it just goes on like that forever. Bonus experience, military, etc.
Right? It's so crazy, right?
Yeah, it's insane. Well, and then you have here's to me that people are missing the point of what's happening. So Laura Loomer goes on Twitter and says the dumbest.
By the
if you
way,
don't know, she's a right-wing activist.
I got a ton of traction off that. It's almost 900,000 views.
So she goes on Twitter, right? And I'll try to find your tweet here. Yeah. Laura Loomer says, time to deploy Palantir to Los Angeles to deal with the illegals. You know you'd love to see it. You're lying if you say you wouldn't.
And then, I say, I go up.
Yeah, and Sam says, there's no coming back from this tweet, and you're absolutely right. And she says, I don't care. I'd say it again. I don't care if Palantir Tech surveils jihadis and illegals. I want them all out of my country. Do you really think we are going to mass deport 65 million people without advanced technology? Are you that naive? Remove every single one. And you responded, enjoy the free fall. Now, here's how you know that everybody in the media, they're missing the point. Because if you type in Laura Loomer right now, these are the stories that come up. Well, nothing about that. It's all about her.
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulation in your podcasting app or check us out at youtube.com/Sam Tripoli.
Welcome back to the #1 podcast in the world. We got a stack-packed week. We got an active live shooter right now in New York City. We got Donald Trump versus South Park. And we got breaking news. Cartman is going to play who?
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk on the next episode. And is Trump parting Diddy or Biden? And like always, cherry on... Or Ghislaine Maxwell. And like always, cherry on the top. Did Joe Rogan deny Netanyahu to go on JRE?
And did he say that Hunter was going to be president next?
And this is XG Marks the Spot. And this is XG. And like always, I got the #1 producer / graphic designer, Chili Millie. Hit that like button and subscribe. And leave a comment. Because if we get to 100, we're giving away 2 Oakleys, baby. It's that simple. Leave a comment. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get right into it, baby. Let's go. Welcome back to the #1 newscast in the world, brought to you by Univision. Dude, it's a crazy times right now. We got an active live shooter in New York, in Manhattan, live like this show is live. Active live shooter going on right now in Manhattan. You know what's crazy? I was watching the homies, Legion of Skanks, and they're literally a couple blocks away from this shooting. And they were doing a live show. And I know they were trying to be funny because, I mean, obviously they're comedians, but they were literally going live while they're like, breaking news, active live shooter in Manhattan. We're just kind of, I mean.
I didn't know that.
It's active shooter going on right now. This guy looks like a certified badass.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. This guy was walking around. There's this picture. Then there's another dude. The year was 2025. The had to be stopped. Go. Guys, have a laugh. It's 20 blocks north. We're fine. Dude, we're fine.
We're fine.
It's barely a mile from here, you guys.
fine.
We're good.
This is 3 blocks from where I work.
Yeah. You made it.
Whatever.
I came here from there, definitely during active shooting time.
Yeah.
You got to think about it. Everything's very close. It's New York City. Like, down the block means...
Well, I didn't know they were doing a live. Which one was it? Do you know?
I don't know, but they were going live. I mean, they might have been like us acting.
It was one of Lewis's?
Yeah, if Lewis was there, and they were kind of, trying to be funny. I thought it was...
That's scary.
Yeah, but that is scary, knowing that there's an active shooter, like, down the block, because everything's just so close.
That's crazy. Did you see their reaction?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were
Did they seem scared?
No, not really. I mean, are you really scared?
I would lock down the building.
It's one guy, Chili.
They don't know that.
You've heard of the
They literally don't know that.
Okay, I know
They don't
you
even know that now.
Okay, touche, because they thought it was a white guy. They thought it was a white
two
guy.
guys, yeah.
Yeah, but
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hat, tinfoil hat, tinfoil hat.